Hey, good morning, or what up, world, whatever time of day it may be. And I was trying to figure out how to set up this shot. It's like with the tiny house, you either get a view into my bathroom or my kitchen. Got my sauce collection back there. Anyway, I just felt like throwing on the camera, sharing some thoughts that came to me when I was writing this morning. In recent years, I've been doing more research and just generally learning more about mental health and depression, anxiety, things that I dealt with for a long time, things that I dealt with for a long time without even knowing. I was dealing with them undiagnosed for years, and not a unique story, but I guess I'm saying, it's put me on a journey to try to understand this stuff more. And, even been realizing some new things recently, and realizing how far back things go. But this video is about the difference between trauma and triggers. Something that I just thought of that I think is going to help me if I utilize it, but I also am not sure if it's 100% true. And here's my thinking. We all have trauma and we all have triggers, and I think nowadays we pretty much have a general sense of what we mean when we say these things. To me, it's kind of new language. I remember feeling for the longest time like every time I would be triggered by something, it was almost like, even if I didn't know what trauma that was related to, it was like the trauma was happening all over again. And it would feel like starting from scratch. Whatever healing I felt I had done, if I was triggered, it would just put me in the state of like, oh, here we go again. Never gonna heal from this. How could I possibly ever heal from this if it keeps happening, right? And what I'm thinking is that, there is a difference between the trauma and the trigger. And even though it may feel when you're triggered that you're being re-traumatized all over again, that may not actually be true. Does that make sense? That that the healing isn't completely undone by being triggered. And I think I'm going to take a little comfort from that thought, because there have been times where it just feels like, man, how can you heal from something that keeps happening? And I've done a lot of work to try to remove triggering circumstances from my life, but as I said, I'm learning that some of the trauma I deal with goes way deeper, further back in my life than I even thought. And so that means now, as an adult, someone who's trying to live as a healthy, whole, healed adult, I've got to be cognizant of that, that these tripwires are in there. And but also remember that when they get tripped, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going back to square one with my healing, because that could feel very hopeless. So it's my thought, deciphering the difference between traumas and triggers and understanding their relationships in the spirit of continuing growth and health into further adulthood. And my goal is to be the best possible human being I can possibly be, and bring the most love and light into this world that I possibly can. And somewhere along the way that got hard, but I'm working on it, and trying to share these insights a little more, and also would love some feedback. Like, maybe there's people who know more about this, and maybe I'm a little off or wrong in my thinking, or I don't know, just I feel good to open up a dialogue about it, whereas in the past I haven't wanted to talk about it at all, or even known how to talk about it. So thanks for listening.